Hi everyone, Mrs. A here. Today we are multiplying rational expressions. Rational expressions are fractions. They're complicated fractions, I guess. So when we're multiplying a rational expression by another rational expression, we're really multiplying fractions. And when we think about the rules for multiplying fractions, we simply multiply numerator times numerator and denominator times denominator, and that's it. So that's what we're going to do here. But because they're rational expressions, we do have to be mindful of restrictions, and we want to simplify, of course, so looking for the common factors in the numerator and the denominator. And the only way to do that is to first factor. In the numerators, both of them, we're already factored, so that's good. But in the denominators, we're not factored. So we're going to factor those first. And if you need help or review with factoring, please go to my factoring videos, because I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about the factoring here. Both denominators are simple trinomials, so I'm going to look at the product and the sum. So on the left expression, the product here is -3, and the sum here is +2. And on the right expression, my product here is +3 and my sum is +4. So I'm going to use those to factor, and I'm going to do it in my next line. All right, so let's rewrite in that numerator. I have the x plus 1 squared, and that's going to multiply with the x minus 1 squared. So I'm going to just write it like this. And in the denominator, going to be a long one, this factors to, well, let's look at my product. It's -3 and my sum is +2. So my numbers for the factoring are going to be +3 and -1, like this. So there's the factoring of that expression. Now let's factor this one. We're going to multiply these two together. To factor this, we have a product of 3 and a sum of 4. So our numbers are 1 and 3, and we're going to have x plus 1, x plus 3. Okay, awesome. Now from here, we can see our restrictions in the denominator. Those are the values of x that make these factors equal to 0, because it will make the denominator 0, which we cannot have. So let's write those down right now before we forget. So here from this factor, x cannot be -3. From this factor, x can't be +1. From this factor, x can't be -1. And from this factor, x can't be, -3 again. We already have that one, so we don't need to write it again. Okay, now let's continue and let's simplify. But to simplify here, I'm going to write out all of these factors so that I can then divide out common factors that I see. So I'm going to write x plus 1 times x plus 1, so without the exponent, and then x minus 1 times x minus 1, like this. And in the denominator, all those factors again. Okay, now let's compare and see where we have our common factors in the numerator and the denominator. So I see x plus 1 and x plus 1. So I'm going to divide those out. That just makes 1, so we can divide them. And I see x minus 1, x minus 1 here. So we'll divide those. That makes a 1. And I think I've got them all. Yeah, I think we're done there. So now let's rewrite everything. In the numerator, we have x plus 1, x minus 1. And in the denominator, we have x plus 3, x plus 3, like this. And our restrictions, let's rewrite those always for our final answer. X cannot be equal to -3 and positive and -1. That's our final answer. Now we have some options. We could expand that numerator back out, because that's going to be a difference of squares, x squared minus 1. And we can write the denominator as x plus 3 all squared. That's up to you. Really, if we just went to here, that is perfectly acceptable. Thanks for watching. Mrs. A Loves Math.